Hello, good afternoon. Okay, so what you have in front of you is a very flowery, well, it's just a little bit of flour from when so what this is a very dense, I don't know how to describe it. It's not a light and fluffy bread. I saw this recipe, this lady who, she has like this homestead style channels. That's the style of living she does. But anyway, she was making her style bread. She made flatbread out of hers. But I just took my whole recipe and of course I doubled it, or she only made 1 cup, 2-3 cups worth of stuff. But I ended up making quite a bit. So anyway, I was at the grocery store. I didn't really follow her recipe, but I followed it as in a general rule. I will tell you how I made it here in a sec. But all right, so this is what it turned out to be. It's heavy. I'd say it's a good, I don't know. I can't guess weight that way. I'd say 5 pounds, maybe less. I'm not sure. I really don't know. It smells really good. So anyway, I was at the store yesterday. Actually, not Hy-Vee yesterday. I was trying to refill a prescription and it would not allow me. So I was at Target and it wouldn't allow me to, my insurance would not allow me to refill it until today. But these are the things I bought yesterday anyway. So I bought some almond flour. I ended up using this whole bag, and it is 1 pound. So I used 1 whole bag of this, and yeah, I still got to rinse that out apparently. I used some pumpkin puree, or whatever you want to call it. Just pumpkin, you know, it is just pumpkin. And how many ounces was this can? There you go. 29 ounces. So that was about 3 cups right here. So this is 3 cups, because I actually scooped it out of there and put it into my measuring cups. And then I actually used this whole bag, and this was like, I think this was over 3 cups when I had, you know, put it in there. And the texture of this was kind of weird. This is the first time I ever used anything that isn't regular old flour. So what I did was I used a container. I ended up just using this whole thing. I wasn't going to, but I ended up using this whole can. Like I said, this was about 3 cups of stuff. This was, I can't remember, maybe 4 cups. Maybe 3, 4, I don't know. Once I did the 3 cups, because that was what I originally was going to do, was 1-to-1 ratio of these, and then use flour, regular white flour, whatever you want to call it, just regular flour, as my mixing. But I ended up having to use a lot of other flour. So then I mixed the 3 cups of this, and then I had, I don't know, a little bit in the container. So I just dumped it in. So I ended up using this whole thing. So let's just go ahead and throw those away now. All right, so I used both of those, and then it was still pretty sticky. So I ended up using 3 cups of all-purpose flour. Then, and before I added the flour, I did grab, let's see here. See if I can grab it. Now, this doesn't have any label on it because this was somebody's honey that they produced for my in-laws, and my in-laws are in their late 80s, and they can't go through a whole half a gallon of honey. So they gifted it to us last year for around the solar eclipse time, because they got it sometime before that. Anyway, so that's real honey from somebody's apiary. Anyway, so I added about 3/4 of a cup of honey, because I wasn't sure if that pumpkin and that almond flour, what kind of flavor those were going to give me. So I just like I said, I just kind of winged it. I have not even tried this yet to see if it tastes good. It smells good. Oh, and then I used some pumpkin pie spice because I figured, well, I'm using pumpkin in there, so I just put let's say I did probably maybe a tablespoon and a half. I didn't even count. Probably a tablespoon of the pumpkin pie spice. Yeah, so then I mixed it up, and then I started adding my all-purpose flour. So I did all that before I added the flour, because yeah, I'm kind of, like I said, I didn't really make this from a recipe. I ended up using, I think in total, 4 cups of flour, maybe 4.5 cups of all-purpose flour, plus the almond flour, and then the puree, and then the honey, and then I just kind of kneaded it until it formed a ball of dough. Then I put it on a baking sheet with parchment paper, threw it in the oven at, I put my oven at 325 because I had no idea what to put it on for baking a bread. I haven't made bread in a long time. Like I said, this didn't rise because there's no yeast in it, so you know, I didn't expect it to. So I expect this to be kind of a dense dough. I did stick toothpicks in it to make sure that, you know, throughout the process, here, and here. The first time and then I put it in for 40 minutes for the first time, and it came back, the tooth, I have no idea if that's even how you know, tell with bread. But anyway, I stuck the toothpick in, and it came back a little bit moist, a little bit. And then I put it back in the oven for about 17 more minutes. I put it in for 20, and I took it out at 4 minutes before it rang. So I guess at about, I don't know, 16 minutes more. And I did this hole here, and it came back nice and you know, dry. So I've yet to try it. Like I said, it smells really, really good. I know if the kids won't eat it, I'm gonna end up eating this whole thing myself. And yeah, but at least I know what's in it. And like I said, I was just following a recipe that this homesteader lady was making, except she was making flatbreads or little pita breads or whatever. They kind of looked like homemade tortillas when she was done, but she didn't make them like tortillas. You know, she didn't have a tortilla press or anything. She just rolled it out on a thing, and then, you know, put them on a frying pan. She cooked them that way, but I just was like, oh, just put them in the oven. So anyway, I don't even know what to call this. I don't know what kind of bread you would call this. So I'm just gonna call this, I can't call it pumpkin bread because then people might think it's like banana bread or whatever. So I don't know. I'm just gonna call this bread. I made bread. So anyway, I will let you know what it tastes like later. Like I said, I made this morning, so it's been sitting here cooling on this rack. So it looks good. It's heavy, so it's going to be a dense one. So it's going to be one that I'm going to use jelly or jam or something. Ooh, I should go get some jelly or jam. It's not the weekend, or I'd go and get some from a farmer's market, but all right. So anyway, I made this. And yeah, it was pretty dry. I mean, I didn't add any water to this, so it does have this nice crack here. But that could be because after it turned into a loaf, I just kind of loafed it out and then put it on my baking sheet just like that. But okay, anyway, this is what I made. All right, bye.